G'day and welcome to Wine Week. I'm Danny.
And I'm Brad.
And this is your last week, your last chance to be in the running to win your best dozen of 2009.
That's right, you don't want to miss out on your chance because there's some cracking wines in that group of 12. So if you're not a subscriber, jump onto the website, put your email address in, make sure you're in the chance to win.
Yeah, or Facebook or Twitter. Look, visit wineweek.com.au, make sure you're in the running. All the details are there, but let's kick off with some wine for now.
Yes, let's look at some wines that might go into this year's best dozen. But this is actually a 2008 wine, and it's it's another Riesling, and this time from down in Little Tassie, and this is from Piper's Brook. Now, some people might be familiar with both Piper's Brook and Ninth Island, produced out of the same vineyard area. Just the sort of the northern tip of Tassie down there, and Tassie has made a name for itself out of producing some lovely little Rieslings, and this is no exception here. The Piper's Brook, this is actually made in a style that will actually age quite well because it is reasonably cool down in Tassie, so they have a fairly long ripening period, and they manage to get the best out of the grapes, and ensures that it's not going to be too flabby and over the top and fall over straight away. Manages to get a nice balance between some nice crisp fruit flavours, but also a bit of sort of minerality and some acidity that'll see it carry through for the long term. So the Piper's Brook, if you haven't tried their Riesling before, you might have tried their other range, it's really worth a look.
Yeah, Piper's Brook, Ninth Island, really good with the whites, Rieslings, Chardonnays, Sparklings, and the Pinot. Next, we're going to have a look at the Hewitson Miss Harry. Now, we looked at this a couple of years ago, and the front label has changed a little bit. It used to say Miss Harry, old and ancient, dry grown. It had all of this stuff on it. And I think part of the reason that they've changed the front label is to actually simplify things a little bit, because they've also added a little bit to it in the bottle. And that is now, as well as the Grenache, as well as the Shiraz, as well as the Mourvedre, they're also putting in a little dollop of Cinsault, the Blue Imperial. We've looked at, I think, one Cinsault over the journey from Morris, which I really like. Adding a little touch of Cinsault to this helps to lighten it up, because let's face it, these old, ancient, dry-grown vines, they're beautiful, massively powerful wines that come from them, jammy, really concentrated, and look, lightening it up just a little bit leads to a lovely wine. This is gorgeous, under $20, and as I say, it is a real kind of jam fest, this. Blackberries, blueberries, plums, raspberry, strawberry, all kind of happening in there. Massive length that it hangs around in the mouth. Really good value, a great wine, a really good option for a big barbie like Australia Day coming up this week.
That's right. And look, it is good to see some of the Aussie winemakers experimenting with throwing a bit of the Cinsault in there in that true sort of Southern Rhone style, so good on them.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to finish with a straight Shiraz, and this is across the other side of the country in Western Australia, in one of my favourite little wine regions, Margaret River, and this is the Cape Mentelle Shiraz. Now, as we've talked about in the past, Margaret River probably more well known for its Cabernets and Cabernet blends, and also its Chardonnays. Whereas this one here, Cape Mentelle have proven that year in, year out, you can make fantastic Shiraz in the Margaret River region as well. In fact, they've probably got one of the most consistent track records with their Shiraz to go with their fantastic Cabernet as well. The great thing about this one is, though, it's about half the price of the Cabernet, because you can pick this up for about 30, just maybe a smidge over $30 a bottle, which when you're talking about a wine of this quality, and to be honest, the Shiraz here, this is from the 2007 vintage, which we've talked about before, mainly with the Cabernets. Outstanding vintage. So look, if you've got $30 to spend on a Shiraz, and look, you want something maybe a little softer than, say, your Barossa, maybe McLaren Vale style, have a look at this Margaret River Cape Mentelle, because it is a fantastic wine, and at $30 it really is a bit of a steal at that price.
Yeah, it certainly is compared to the rest of their range. That one's a bargain at $30. Amazing that. Anyhow, that's it for this week on Wine Week. We'll be drawing the best dozen winners next week, so look out for that. We'll see you then.
We'll see you next week.